Hey, so this is gonna be the second round of the drive home. Did a really crazy hike. It was on Mount Baldy again, called Bentley's Dream. It was a pretty crazy hike where one thing about that area is it has, if you go up to it, it has a snowboarding and skiing lot, and so we had actually made a mistake and we didn't take the actual route, and what pretty much what happens is the real route is about a 6-mile route where you go all the way to the top and there's a restaurant. It's where actually where the ski lift takes you, so you go up through that. But what happened was we made the wrong turn and we went to where the people were taking the ski lift up, and you were able to so I go up to the ski lift guy, and because how the ski lift was is it would take you, there was a 2-part ski lift, so the ski lift would take you to one part and then it would drop you off, and then you had to take another ski lift to where there was actual snow. So where the first ski lift was, there wasn't any snow, and we ultimately go up to the ski lift guy, ask him, say, hey, can we go ahead and take this hike up here? And he fist bumps me and says, he's like, dude, you guys are studs. And that was already a bad sign. So, we go straight up, and it ended up being a mile. It ended up being 2.5 miles and then 1,500 feet elevation incline, and man, I can't even start. Like, we'd go up maybe 50 yards, 100 yards, and then just calves and thighs and everything's burning, like straight destruction. And so do that, and then I go up and we go up, just keep honestly doing that for a while, where the funny part was, we were right under the ski lift where all these people were they were on the lift, and they're cheering us on, and they're telling us they're studs and giving us a lot of compliments, and then sometimes we take breaks, and then the ski lift would stop, and we were able to kind of talk to the people high above us. And yeah, it was definitely one of those things where I think we regretted it halfway up. It was once you're in the lion's den, you're just like, oh, I gotta take this on, and so pretty much a good workout. I mean, my legs are destroyed, my butt, my calves are totally wrecked, my ankles are totally wrecked. So definitely a great workout. We got to the top. Like I said, there's a restaurant, because that's where the first lift drops off, and the restaurant was lucrative and cost, just because of, if you think about there's no substitutes in terms of food, so economically, and also the transportation to get food up there is probably a pretty penny. So they definitely put that price back on the client or on the customer. So yeah, we ended up not even eating, and then kind of stayed up there for a little while. Where when we first started the hike at the beginning of the trail lift, there was no snow, and then when we got all the way to the top, there was a good amount of snow. So we started having to hike in snow, and I mean, it was a wild ride. I think it was one of those things where you're having to stop, where you can feel your heart beating, and it was pumping so much a minute. I can imagine what the beats a minute were, where you could feel it almost in your neck, like it's pulsating in your neck, and so you're like, oh man, I gotta take a break, and yeah, to me it was a rush like that. I was soaked in sweat after maybe 20 minutes, and it took us about an hour and 20 minutes, I would say hour and a half to get up there. Yeah, it was a wild ride, really wild ride, and I was lucky I did it with a good friend of mine he's training right now to go into the Navy, so he's kind of in this work his butt off mode, and we kind of propelled each other up there. And when we got up there, it was all right, we got it done, took some nice photos, kind of chilled for a second, and then we took the cruiser way home, which was I think it's called I want to say it's called like Mount Baldy Falls Trail or something of that nature, and they call it like Evans. It's like Evans Way or something like that. And so it's a really, really good hike. I don't know if I'll ever go up the ski lift like I did again, or go up the underneath where the ski lift was in terms of walking. It's just crazy to me how many people were there and how many people were at also just the skiing part of it. Yeah, so we had some really good conversations. He and I went over, talked a lot about investing and how he got a lot, picked my brain in terms of some of the investments I've made, as well as Cameron's he's a little bit younger than I am, so and he's a lower tax bracket, so he asked for some more of the planning and how to whether he does a Roth or Roth IRA or regular IRA or a 401k, and then he also we went over capital gains taxing and write-offs, and so we went through a lot of that, and went over really like how family's been going on both sides, and his sister just celebrated her birthday, so they had gone over their celebration and talked about life. Both of our, he's going to the Navy, so we went and talked about how training's going and some of the new things that he's looking into hobby-wise. So it was definitely a good wild ride, but that on the way down we took the easier route and got a lot of good conversations in on it. I used to take him when he was young. He was really young. I used to take him like 5 a.m. on hikes where I'd beat him up. It would be like 10-mile hike and just totally wreck him. And he was always game for it though. Didn't complain a lot. Always had a good mindset, and kid's got a good head on his shoulders. Especially for his age, you just like so much wisdom, and so yeah, we would do crazy hikes, and so for us to do this again, it was kind of like reliving what once was. There were parts where he's like, my calves are just like he would have to stop and sit down, and he's like, my calves are just tight and not moving, and on the way down it felt like you feel that like that knee compression, especially because it's the way down is heavy decline, and it's pretty much made up most of it. I think the last conversation we had driving home, we got a nice, before we drove home, we got a really, really nice breakfast that was in the Mount Baldy town, and man, it was really good. I'm drawing a blank on the name. I think it was like Mount Baldy Cafe or something like that, and really yummy place, and he had this like the most unique French toast I've ever seen, where it looked like almost like a cake. And so we were driving home, and we talked about one of the areas that he's been watching is this network called Warrior Poet Society, that goes into a lot of different survival instincts, like including weapon safety, as well as like how to save a person's life, like from a medical perspective, and does training classes they do training classes that you can go to, but they also do a lot of videos on them. He was really gung-ho about it, so he was telling me about it, and something I'm going to check out. But again, it's like one of those things, like hiking by itself has its own therapy, but being able to go with a friend and endure those harsh moments together, and kind of fight all that. I was really proud of Cameron. I'm really proud of myself today, because I've gained a lot of weight since I've done those hikes before, and I'm at that point in my life where like doing a hike like that you're almost kind of worried about my physical safety. So felt really accomplished when we were done. Got a nice grub. Got to spend some time with him. Just like my mind felt so good today from that. I feel really tired, and I'm gonna get a nap in a little bit, obviously. And but I felt so exhausted at one point where I was just like, I was sitting there when we were in breakfast, and I'm like, man, I just could nap right now, and that's gonna be good. Like for that 4 or 5 hours that we were out there, we we didn't, it was good conversations. We didn't focus on all the negative stuff, and especially the workout part of it. It was a lot of focusing on just moving your feet forward, and I felt really at peace at that period, and really great hike. Again, this is the second time I've been to Mount Baldy, so back to back. A lot of great hikes in the Angeles National Forest area. Very beautiful area. A lot of different kind of terrains. Kind of the cool part is that the lower you go down in elevation, the more desert-like it is. So you'll get a completely different kind of feeling when you hike those particular locations versus obviously the higher elevation. You'll run into more of a wooded / snow, like the higher you get in that aspect, and so when we were there, it felt like I personally sat there, and it was a really cool experience where you had the kind of a beginning of it was like really wooded, and then you got a ton of snow which we had to hike through, and very, very gravelly kind of feel. And so yeah, it was it's that Angeles National Forest area could be so beneficial. I know in the last live stream I did, I went over some of the gear that I brought. We didn't, because of the incline, I actually left out my hiking poles, so I just kept my same gear, so air horn, camel pack. I brought my weaponry, so my Bowie knife and my Indian tomahawk for good luck, my Solomons for hiking, for the boots, and then yeah, wool socks. I'm wearing it's kind of like a nice it's like more of a thermal type of texture, both on the legs and on the arms, and it's keeps you really warm, because it was probably, I think, like 30 degrees when we were there. So yeah, it's definitely one of those hikes where you felt like you were beating yourself up the whole time, and then and it was very rewarding at the end, because it was just walking, having a nice talk, because we were going down a decline most of it, and yeah, my mind feels really good right now. Very, very grateful to have a friend like Cameron that will put up with those kind of hikes, and challenge me as much as himself, and like once you're going up something like that, that kind of push can help you, just in life too. Yeah, how much he and a lot of my friends do for me, where they push me in ways of growth. Sometimes it's not easy. Like, it's like going up 1,300 feet of elevation, in a couple miles. You feel the pain at certain points, and you feel like, man, you don't want to really do this, and you're just outside your comfort zone, and people like Cameron in my life help push me forward, whether it's that physical hike or an area in my life where I feel uncomfortable and I'm new to it, and it's just one of those experiences where I sit there and you don't, every person you hike with is so much different on how they handle themselves and handle the road, like the way they take it on, and then challenge themselves, the way they kind of handle. They could also get frustrated, and different emotions come out, so you get to learn a lot about a person in that adversity, and yeah, it was really cool, because we as we were going up it, like I said, we were getting cheered on by the people above us on the chairlift, and they're going snowboarding or skiing, and to see people crazy enough to go up the 1,300 feet in a couple miles, was just drenched in sweat, and they're watching us thinking, God, like, what, these people are, this guy's crazy. So I'd say for me, like, how some of these hikes are sometimes is you definitely are like, man, there are war stories in their own way of how you felt during that period, and you're like, man, do I ever want to do it again? Sometimes I'll revisit some of these horrible hikes that I take on, and see if I could still do them, or if I want to do them, and then but they make good memories. And today was a good memory. Like I was very very relaxed going up it. Most of the first 2 hours were just straight incline. Like there's periods where I think we went like maybe for like half hour where there wasn't any type of where it flattened out. So when you're on stuff like that, your legs are just killing you and you want to stop, and your mind's like giving you all this so many reasons of why you want to stop, and your body's pushing you in a certain sense. And so I think like that those are the moments where you really look at yourself and you're like, man, can I make this out of it? Can I get out of this? Can I push myself through it? And all you focus on is the top, like getting to the top of that mountain. And that was our beacon. We would go up like a stretch on this incline, and then it's not like you could see it all the way up. It was like this kind of like, and so there'd be certain parts where you kind of, it's kind of wooded out. And so once you kind of did the turn and you saw that it was like, another, or it's another 100 yards of, or another, I'd say 400 yards of incline. And then it's like it's another curve, and you're hoping you're like, man, I wish I could just know where it is, but you eventually just accept it, and you're like, I just need to get through this and push myself as much as possible. And so yeah, I feel dead tired. I'm extremely wiped out. I can't believe Cameron did that. It's been a long time for him it's been a long time since he's been there, or been in a hike like that. And I'm really proud of him. He's really pushing himself. He always pushes himself, but to be able to do that physically, that just says a lot. And yeah, for that journey, like I would tell most people, if they were going to the Mount Baldy resort, and they choose to hike up where the chairlift is, all the way to the mountain where the restaurant is. If I definitely bring the walking poles. You definitely want hiking boots. You cannot do that in anything other. You're going to just take out water so quickly. So you want to have some type of you want to have a lot of water, whether you're holding it or a camel pack or something with a bladder to be able to get you through it. I would recommend bringing food. That was one of the things I think we're kind of starving at the end of it, and or even halfway through it. And so I think as we're kind of going through that, you're just like, wow, like how can this get any worse? And finally, once you get to the top, there's that feeling of refreshness. Like I just conquered it, and it's like no different at work, getting something completed, or working out and reaching a PR. And yeah, I would definitely say like how I feel, very very blessed. Like I said, to have a friend like Cameron, very blessed to be able to live in an area where I can, kind of to get to not to be too far from so many different great places to be, or great hikes to be, and really when you're out there, it was very packed today, but when we went up the chairlift, it was like really nobody besides the people on the chairlift, so it kind of gave us some peace of mind and isolation and solitude. And that solitude's so important. You're breathing straight fresh air, and it's just one of those things. Like it's just one of those things when you breathe that fresh air and you're sitting there and you're fighting through it, and then you get to the top and you breathe fresh air again, and you feel the cold air just hit you in the face, and it's just like you've been sweating, and body heat is just at an all-time high. So to be able to do that was like I said, we made a wrong turn. Wasn't planned, but something good came out of it today, and so many good things. So, I was proud of myself that I was able to do it. Proud of Cameron, and ultimately, like, it just makes me wonder if I've still got a lot in me to do a lot of those crazy hikes now, and yeah. I think what often than not kind of can be troubling is really the start of it. And I think as we were starting, we thought, wow, this is going to be pretty tough, but a lot of it is really mind over matter. I mean, I think that's like with most things in life. It's like if you doubt yourself at the beginning, or you doubt yourself at all, that's okay. Like, it's okay to doubt yourself. It's okay to doubt, like, to have tried, sometimes you're gonna be negative on yourself, but it's one of those things, if you can really believe in yourself, like, you can really achieve a lot of what you want to do. And yeah, so this is gonna be a short one, only because it took us a long time to get out of reception, but I'll definitely post some pictures on our Instagram at LongLiveJunto. And then like I said, I'm gonna get didn't do a video this time, but I'm gonna be getting a couple devices that allow me to record my sessions, whether it's live streamed or going to be on YouTube, and post the journey, so you guys can kind of be with me on the journey, and I'll talk to you through it. So hope you guys have a great Sunday. Just like I said, what the goal of this segment is as you're driving home, what are things in life that if you're leaving, you're coming from church, or you're coming from work, or you're coming from having brunch, or having lunch with somebody, as you're driving home, going home, or driving to a different destination, count those blessings, count that experience, think about that experience, that previous experience, where you came from, and what it meant to you. Like, did you grow from it? Did that experience make you feel great, make you feel happy, and you just went over, you forgot to be happy in those moments? Did that experience, kind of harm you? Did it make you feel bad? And how can you learn from it? Just use the drive home. I always recommend it. It's the drive home to me is again, like I'm tired and I want to focus on sleeping. I'm getting dog food right now for my dog, but when I get home, it's like shower, nap, and right now, as I'm talking here, it's like how much of these good things are happening, where how many good things happened today, and yet you could have looked at it as a negative because it didn't go the way that was planned, but it ultimately resulted in something positive. And I think ultimately when you're kind of going through all that stuff, ultimately when you're going through your drive home, just think about how if you didn't get much out of the previous experience, how much you can the next one, and try to have a positive day. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Like I said, this is gonna be a short one. I'm pretty pooped and I'm getting dog food right now, but I'll be definitely hiking in the future. I'm gonna post some of these pictures on our Instagram, and it'll get on Twitter. Go ahead, send, DM us if you have questions on that location, if you ever want inspiration on the hike, and yeah, thanks for joining today.